I'll do my best. Welcome back to a new school year. This marks the beginning of my third academic year here, so I think I have only about 17 to go before I'm no longer called the new president. Being new can be hard, especially for our freshmen. Like many of you, as the parent of a college student, I know viscerally how challenging it can be for our new students to adjust to Edinburgh, whether they come from near or far. And I know how their families worry about the adjustment. For many freshmen, this is the first time away from family, all alone. It's difficult not to react emotionally when a freshman says that in her first week here, the worst thing that happened was saying goodbye to her family. It's the first time I ever saw my dad cry, she confides. Another struggles with the same issue, saying, I like the independence here, and it's fun to be away and with friends, but it feels like I'm breaking up with my family. We understand what these families are feeling. We understand what the students are feeling. That's why I'm so pleased and relieved to hear many of our new students say that we fill the void left by the absence of their family and friends from home. Let me quote a few students. My greatest surprise was how friendly everyone is here. And from another, I was surprised at how welcoming and nice everyone is. And yet another, I was nervous and homesick, but I found it so easy to make friends here. I love it. Our commitment to being a welcoming and friendly community in all that we do every day is no small thing. In many cases, it is what makes the difference between a student staying here to achieve his or her dream or leaving and encountering a dead end in life. Thank you. Thank you for the little things that you do every day to make our students feel like they belong here and we value them. If you've encountered members of our freshman class, you already know what a great group this is. These are young people of character, intelligence, and good humor, and they are here to figure out how they can make a difference in our world, and to learn the skills and knowledge they need to make that difference. They make me hopeful about the future of our region and of our society as a whole. Our job is to keep alive their curiosity and commitment, and to nurture their ability to understand diverse perspectives, and their confidence to delve into the learning process and wrestle with the inevitable confusion that is part of that process, that is, in fact, essential to the learning process. It is not unintentional that I begin with our students. They are our shared top priority. But there are other topics that undergird our commitment to student success, that make it possible for us to do the work that we do with students. Finances, for example. I knew you were waiting for me to talk about that. 2013-14 was a year when we focused on both austerity and revenue generation, and it worked. It was painful, deeply painful at times, but with cuts in personnel and operating costs and new revenue, we managed to nearly erase our $5.5 million budgeted deficit and end the year with a shortfall of only about $100,000. And you'll recall this was a year when enrollment was lower than expected, increasing our deficit further beyond the $5.5 million, but we overcame it by working together. That is remarkable. We brought that deficit down from $5.5 million, then it was up at $7.3 million because of enrollment, down to just $100,000. We did that together. It also bears noting that while our state funding has declined steadily since 2002 and is close to 50% less now per full-time equivalent student than it was 10 years ago, 50% less than 10 years ago, we have consistently lowered the actual cost of education per full-time student while maintaining quality. That is, we are not passing on significant cost increases to our students because we have a mission to provide access to capable students who don't have the means to attend college. We have another hard year ahead. Because the Pennsylvania state system of higher education is faced with a long-term structural deficit. In other words, the funding mechanisms for the state system and the universities within that system cannot keep up with costs. In fact, they can't come anywhere near to meeting the costs. We are entering this fiscal year with a significant deficit again. Nearly, but not quite as large as the one we started with last year. But there is some very good news as well. We are turning the corner in a context where accomplishing what we have achieved is remarkable. We are in a higher education world of unprecedented competition. Colleges and universities are learning by necessity how to do things very differently than they have for many, many years. We must find more ways to contain costs, huge costs, like the cost of personal printing across campus. It's time for us to minimize paper and maximize the savings that come from electronic communication and storage. This is but one example of doing things differently that can have a real positive impact on the bottom line. We can continue to turn this corner and come out stronger on the other side. And we will do that because of you. Our greatest resource is you. It is because of you that we have achieved the many accolades we've enjoyed this past year. And you saw those scrolling, I hope, when you came in and were waiting for us to start. To name just a few of those that you saw scrolling as you came in today, we were recognized as a 2014 Great College to Work For. We continue to be recognized for academic excellence. Most recently, our online graduate programs in social work and educational psychology were ranked in the top 10 in the country. And just last week, Edinboro University was named number 16 in the top 50 schools in the country that are best for homeschooled students because of our close attention to student success, our unique and vibrant campus traditions, one of which is starting to take place today, the Highland Games, and because of our strong support for first-year students as they transition to college. We are the only PASHA university among the top 50 schools, which include Harvard, Yale, and the University of Pennsylvania. That's a good group to be among. That reminds me of a comment I've heard from campus visitors, as well as new employees several times recently. They've said, "This campus is beautiful. It looks like a private college." Our admissions staff is working to capitalize on that distinctive strength of Edinboro University. Perico College exceeded our goal of 150 new students with 174 new and reinstated students as of today, and an unduplicated head count of 448 students taking classes at Perico College. For the first time in years, our total new students, freshmen and transfers, on opening day exceeded the previous year. And we have held that. We are still above last year. We are ahead now by about 15 as of today. And this turnaround reflects a great deal of hard work by many, many people. So just think about that. We were on a trajectory of declining new students for a number of years, and we have turned that around. And the number is going up. That's a big, important change for our future. We continue, though, to face a challenge with retention. Attrition of continuing students is still depressing our enrollment. We're making some small progress there, too, but it's not enough, and it is having a negative impact on our enrollment. With respect to new students, we have turned the corner. Of course, smaller classes over the previous 4 years will depress our enrollment for a couple years to come, but we are moving in the right direction, and we're working to recruit enough new students in the future to keep our enrollment stable and then growing. What's equally, maybe more important, is how we did against budget projections for this fall. So when we make the budget, we project how many students we will have, and that, of course, impacts the overall budget, because the major part of our budget part of our revenue comes from tuition and fees. We did much better than we projected in the budget with new undergraduate students. 157 more students than projected. And also with new graduate students, about 15 more than projected. And of course, we won't know for sure our final numbers for another week, but most of the fluctuation has happened at this point. So I tried to get numbers that were right up to date for today. But continuing students did not meet our goals. So we are below where we hope to be, and we must redouble our retention efforts. Again, on the positive side, last year we posted a second in a row all-time high fundraising year, helped by support for the Perico College and for all of our people across the university. People see that we make a difference, and they want to get behind that. They want to support the university, and that's a big success to have another all-time fundraising record. Looking ahead, areas of focus for this fall include enrollment, led by Chris LaRusso, our new Assistant Vice President for Enrollment Services, who you met a few minutes ago. Chris's creative thinking, deep knowledge, and determined action. We are working to be more strategic in our recruitment efforts and have set ambitious but realistic goals for new student recruitment for this year. And the new student recruitment season has begun this fall for our entering students next fall. Chris has very solid plans to make our current increase in new students grow exponentially. With Dean's support, faculty are designing new programs to attract new prospective students, those who would come here if we had the specific program they're interested in. Another major initiative for this year is retention, and I've mentioned that a number of times, so that won't come as a surprise. Director of Academic Success and Student Retention, Faye Howard, who you met a few minutes ago, joined us in August, and is enthusiastically leading the team of 4 academic success coordinators and the Academic Success Center. Every single faculty and staff member on this campus has the potential to impact retention. And that potential can be positive or negative. We want it to be positive. This is our greatest challenge, and we need all hands on deck when it comes to retention. What can you do in addition to making this a welcoming environment where students know you care about and enjoy helping them, and in addition to answering their questions accurately and quickly? If you know a student is having a problem, even if you can't help them, reach out immediately and let somebody who can help them know about it. Contact the dean's office or the vice president's office or the academic success center or the director of residence life or the counseling center, whatever seems appropriate. Don't hesitate to be the link to help whenever you can. That is one way that you can really have a positive impact on retention. And if you think there's a better way to do things to meet students' needs, don't keep it a secret. Share it with your supervisor, your dean, your vice president, or me. If we retained more students who started here, our financial picture would improve immediately and dramatically. Also important to retention, working through the American Council on Education, Change, and Innovation Lab Lumina Foundation grant. Team members including Provost Mike Hannon, Dr. Jean Jones, Director of our Honors Program and President of APSCA, the Faculty Union, Dr. Hans Sablo, Vice President for Student Affairs, as well as Faye Howard, our Director of Student Success, Academic Success and Student Retention. I have got to get that title right. Academic Success and Student Retention, and others are reinventing student advising. Building on existing strengths and adopting a team approach, they're focused on how can we improve advising to really help us improve retention. This project has the potential to improve retention considerably, and I look forward to sharing results of the pilot project this spring. You have asked in a number of venues for customer relations training, for help with how to deal with all of the questions, sometimes unhappy, sometimes angry, sometimes just plain frustrated, that reach your desk or that come to you. And we will be providing it for all staff this fall. Through this training, we aim to empower staff to do what they know is best, especially in difficult situations, to trust what they know is best and to feel like they are empowered to do it. And we aim to capitalize on the fact that you care deeply about how our students, our families, our colleagues, and our external constituents are treated. As you have said in many forums as well, we need to improve communication on campus and off campus. And we need to simplify and streamline business processes. And this training is a part of that effort as well. We need less bureaucracy and more focus on pleasing people, including ourselves, our colleagues, than on pushing paperwork and obtaining endless signatures. We have demonstrated that working together, we can rise above the state's abdication of responsibility for public higher education. We have demonstrated that we can creatively generate new revenue. And we have to continue to work at this. We need to do an even better job of communicating the value of an Edinboro education. We must all be part of that effort. In closing, let me reiterate, the world of higher education isn't changing. It has changed. The prevailing expectations, procedures, and staffing that we have taken for granted for so long, not just here in Edinburgh, but across higher education, all have changed. Public institutions like ours are now tuition and philanthropy dependent. To a large extent, we have been privatized. States cannot fund higher education the way they once did. Their major expense now is healthcare and retirement, and Pennsylvania is 47th in the country for support of public higher education. Assessment of prior learning and mastery-based rather than credit-based degrees are now becoming mainstream. Online learning has become conventional, and I could go on. But the point is, we are not facing disruption. We have been disrupted, and we need to respond. I am optimistic because we are responding successfully. I am optimistic because we have begun to show that we can not only operate, but we can excel in this new, more challenging environment. I am optimistic because we have begun to implement your good ideas for improving and streamlining how we work. I am optimistic because we have a wonderful student body. I am optimistic because in all of you, I know that we have the right people and the drive to continue to grow and evolve together. Now, let's get to work and continue to show the world what fighting Scots do in the face of challenge.